Hi, my name is Susan Trujillo. I am a librarian here at West, and I'm happy to be embedded in your class. In the following video tutorial, I'll be showing you how to search library databases for articles on your literary topics, including how to narrow your results and how to filter your results to look at just scholarly sources.
Okay, so I am at the college's homepage and I'm going to start by getting to the library's homepage. So at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to click on the word library to get to the library's homepage. And from the library's homepage, I'm going to click on the word databases. So once I've clicked on the word databases, I'm going to scroll past ebooks and videos, and I'm going to come to the articles databases, which is where your research will usually come from. So you'll notice that they're kind of listed alphabetically by the vendor. I'm going to go down to JSTOR. We also have Project Muse. So these are probably the two that I would probably most highly recommend for literature research. But we're going to start with JSTOR. I'm going to click on JSTOR. And it doesn't let me get into the database. I'm blocked. So if you're using this from off campus, you'll experience the same thing. And you'll just type in for your username. It asks for your student ID number. And then your password is the 2-digit month, 2-digit day of your birthday. So for example, if you were born June 15th, your password would be 0615. So I'm going to enter my credentials. And once I do that, I'm recognized as a West LA College professor, and I now have access to the database. So you'll note, so I'm in JSTOR, and you'll notice that I have a simple search box. It looks kind of like Google in that it's just a single search box. So in this database and in most databases, I would recommend that you go to advanced search, and that'll change the search interface. Instead of just having a single search box, I now have several, and I have these Boolean operators that'll help me. They're like commands that'll help to filter my results. And I'm going to start by, let's say I'm interested in the concept of the unreliable narrator. So I'm going to type in unreliable narrator and click on search and see what I come up with. And I have over 5,300 results, which is kind of a lot. That's a lot more than I'd like to look through. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to, in the advanced search, I'm going to actually put unreliable narrator in quotation marks. This is called an exact phrase search. And what this does is it tells the database that I don't want to just see anything that has the word unreliable and the word narrator somewhere in the article. I only want to see the result if unreliable narrator appear just as you see them in the quotation marks. In this exact order, unreliable in front of the word narrator, right next to each other, just like that. So that's why it's called an exact phrase, because it has to, an exact phrase search, because it has to match exactly what's inside of those quotation marks. And again, this will work in pretty much any database, including Google, which is just a gigantic database. So now I'm going to click on search, and I believe I had over 5,300 results before. So now I'm down to 1,350. So by using an exact phrase search, I eliminated almost 4,000 results, and I should be left with more relevant results. But it's still kind of very broad. I don't want to know just about any, I don't want just anything about an unreliable narrator. So I'm going to go back to my advanced search. I'm going to go hit back so I can refine my search a little bit. And I'm going to keep unreliable narrator, but I'm interested in unreliable narrator specifically in Wuthering Heights. And Safari corrected my Wuthering to Withering, so I'm going to put it back to how I wanted it, Wuthering Heights. And I'm going to click on search. And so I believe I had 1,350 results before. So now I was much more specific. Let me actually go back and just show you my search. So I said I still wanted unreliable narrator, but what this and does, this Boolean operator and, lets the database know that I only want to see, instead of just seeing that unreliable narrator is not sufficient by itself, I have to meet both conditions. It has to include unreliable narrator, and it has to include Wuthering Heights. Both of those conditions have to be present in the result before I see it. Okay, so by doing that, I am down to just 46 results, which is a lot fewer to have to look through. So the first one is called the unreliable narrator in Wuthering Heights. So let's say I'm interested in this one. I can click on download PDF, accept the terms and conditions, and then after this first page, I have the full article. Okay. So let me go back to my results. The other thing I can do is most databases will have a citation feature which generates these automatic citations that you can copy and paste into your Works Cited page. And I'm just going to caution you that unfortunately it is just a machine generated citation, so very often that there are errors in the citation. So it'll save you some typing, but it's still very important that you use OWL at Purdue or your MLA handbook to make sure that your citation is correct. Okay, so I only have 46 results, but I want to be sure. So most of these it says that it comes from journals, which is fine. So, but sometimes you might have a greater variety of sources, and if you want to make sure that your sources come from from journals, click on journals so that it'll filter your results to just items that are from journal articles. Although usually in JSTOR, most of your results will come from journals. Okay, so that's how you do a basic advanced search in JSTOR. So let me do another search just to go over this again. So I'm going to keep Wuthering Heights, and I'm using the Boolean operator and. So I'm saying I want my results to be about Wuthering Heights and this additional concept that I'm going to add. So I'm going to say abuse or domestic violence. And you notice that I typed in or with capital letters. So if I click on this pull down menu for my Boolean operators, or is one of the choices. So what I'm telling the database is my results have to be about Wuthering Heights, and my results have to be about either one of these concepts. So abuse and domestic violence are basically the same thing, but I don't want to miss an article that talks about like spousal abuse just because the author uses the term spousal abuse and I'm using domestic violence. So I'm including both of these words in my search so that I can capture the result either way. So for sure it has to be about Wuthering Heights, and for sure it has to include this second concept, but I don't care whether the author uses the word abuse or whether the author uses the word the term domestic violence. Either one is fine. So that's what the or does. Okay, so I'm going to click on, and I might want to narrow my results to just articles, so I don't really want to see reviews. So now I'm going to click on search and see how it looks. Okay, so I have 184, so that's a pretty good number of results to look through. I feel more comfortable with that number of results. And again, if I like an article, I can just download the PDF and get to the full text of the article. Okay, so that is how you would search JSTOR.